Some courtroom stories shock the world forever. This is one of them. In 1981, German mother Marion Bachmeier carried a .22 caliber pistol into the trial of the man who had kidnapped and murdered her 7-year-old daughter. As cameras rolled and reporters watched, she pulled the weapon from her purse and fired 7 shots, killing him instantly. The case ignited fierce debate. Was it justice born of grief or vigilante vengeance? Her act, broadcast worldwide, forced society to confront the raw pain behind a parent's unbearable loss. Some photographs carry a weight history can never erase. This is one of them. Taken in August 1997, just weeks before the tragic car crash that claimed her life, this is the last known photo of Princess Diana with her son, Prince William. Walking casually, Diana radiates warmth and elegance, smiling at her teenage boy as if the world around them didn't matter. The image, now haunting in retrospect, captures the fleeting beauty of a mother-son bond forever cut short by unimaginable loss. A sign reading "White Only" towers over this heartbreaking scene from Alabama, 1956. In the grip of segregation, even something as basic as water was divided by race. Here, a black man lifts little girls so they can drink from the only fountain allowed to them, marked colored. The image captures not only the cruelty of Jim Crow laws, but also the quiet resilience of a community forced to endure daily humiliation. It's a haunting reminder of how injustice seeped into the simplest moments of life. Her small hand rests gently on her teacher's throat, feeling vibrations instead of hearing sound. This haunting photo from Sulphur, Oklahoma, in April 1917 captures a moment of resilience at a school for deaf mutes. The woman is teaching the girl to say fish, proving that even in silence, language can be learned through touch. At a time when resources for the deaf were scarce, this scene embodies both the struggle and brilliance of early education methods, turning physical connection into the foundation of communication. His gaze is calm, almost fragile, yet behind it hides one of the wildest legends in rock history. This 1974 photo shows 26-year-old Ozzy Osbourne at the height of Black Sabbath's rise, when their dark riffs were redefining music. The young Prince of Darkness looks more like a dreamer than a madman, but his life was already spiraling into the chaos that made him infamous. Between drugs, fame, and controversy, this moment freezes Ozzy before myth consumed the man. Behind the magic of Sesame Street lies a surreal reality. One man, two legends. In this rare photo from around 1980, Carol Spinney operates Oscar the Grouch with one arm while wearing the massive legs of Big Bird. It's a bizarre but brilliant glimpse into the chaotic artistry that shaped generations of childhoods. Spinney wasn't just moving puppets. He was breathing life into icons that taught kids about kindness, diversity, and imagination. This image captures the hidden grind behind the world's most beloved street. Two women who would soon redefine television stand casually in this candid 1990s photo. Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox, years before Friends became a global phenomenon. Their relaxed style, barefoot in cutoffs for Aniston, cigarette in hand for Cox, captures the raw, unfiltered vibe of the decade. Within a short time, these two would step onto a sitcom set that forever changed pop culture, turning them into household names. Here, though, they're just friends, unaware that fame and history are only moments away. Hate scrawled in dripping paint greeted this Japanese-American family when they returned home from an internment camp in 1945. After years of unjust imprisonment during World War II, they stepped back into freedom only to find another prison, racism etched across their own walls. "No Japs wanted here" screams louder than words, a cruel reminder that prejudice didn't end with the war. This haunting photo captures the brutal reality. Barbed wire may come down, but for many, the battle for dignity had only just begun. Two nations, divided for centuries by war and water, finally broke through the rock to meet face-to-face beneath the English Channel. This 1990 photograph captures the exact moment British and French workers connected their tunnels, creating the Channel Tunnel, one of the greatest engineering feats of the 20th century. With just a handshake and 2 flags, history shifted, enemies turned partners, and Europe grew closer than ever before. It wasn't just stone that was shattered that day, but centuries of separation. In the middle of the flooded jungles of Vietnam, doctors and nurses risked everything to keep soldiers alive. This 1970 photograph captures a makeshift hospital, surgical teams standing waist-deep in water, fighting infection, exhaustion, and fear while saving lives. With no sterile rooms or modern comforts, these medics turned swamps into operating theaters, where every stitch and every breath meant defying death itself. It's a haunting reminder that in war, true heroism isn't always on the battlefield. It's in the fight to give the wounded one more chance to live. They could see the laughter, hear the joy, but they weren't allowed to join. This powerful photo from Alabama, 1956, shows black children staring through a fence at a segregated playground, just out of reach. The ride spun and the swings flew, but for them, the gate was locked, not by chains, but by racism. In their eyes is longing, confusion, and resilience, a reminder that Jim Crow didn't just divide spaces, it divided childhoods. A stolen innocence, framed by a fence, in a nation still fighting for freedom. His last breath was captured in this haunting frame, kneeling, shirt torn, moments from death. In 1937, during the Nanjing Massacre, Japanese soldiers executed countless Chinese civilians and prisoners with merciless efficiency. This man's beheading was not unique. It was one of tens of thousands of atrocities that defined one of history's darkest chapters. The sword raised above him is more than a weapon. It is a symbol of unchecked brutality, of humanity stripped away. This is the face of war's cruelty, frozen forever, so we cannot forget. At just 21 years old, Bernie Sanders was dragged away in chains for daring to stand against America's ugliest truth, segregation. This moment in Chicago, August 1963, shows him being arrested while protesting housing discrimination, refusing to stay silent in the face of injustice. Around him, children watched, police enforced, and the nation wrestled with its conscience. Decades before he became a household name in politics, Sanders was already risking everything on the front lines of the civil rights struggle. His defiance spoke louder than fear. The Lincoln Memorial, one of America's most iconic symbols, didn't always look so majestic. In this rare 1917 photo, it rises stark and alone, surrounded not by the shimmering reflecting pool we know today, but by muddy marshland and overgrown fields. The grandeur feels incomplete, as if waiting for its stage to be built. Just years later, the reflecting pool would transform the site into a place of national memory, where Martin Luther King Jr. declared, "I have a dream," and millions would gather to demand justice. In 1989, Nintendo's Game Boy changed childhood forever. This photo captures a wholesome twist, a mother deeply focused, helping her son conquer a tough level in Super Mario Land. The kids crowd around, eyes wide, as if watching magic unfold, not on a TV screen, but in their mom's hands. At a time when handheld gaming felt revolutionary, moments like these turned pixelated adventures into family memories. It's not just about the game. It's about love, patience, and the rare joy of a mom stepping into 8-bit worlds. In 1936, at the Berlin Olympics overshadowed by fascist propaganda, Ondina Valla made history as the first Italian woman to win Olympic gold. Yet her triumph came with a chilling image. Standing on the podium, she delivered the fascist salute. For Mussolini's regime, her victory was seized as a tool of nationalist pride. But for Valla, It was also a personal triumph in a world where women athletes were often dismissed. This photo captures the uneasy collision of athletic greatness and political ideology. With a bow in her hair and a smile far too innocent for war, Rosa Maria Gazuska was only 8 years old when she became the youngest known nurse of the Warsaw Uprising in 1944. After her father was executed by the Gestapo in 1943, she carried water, comforted the wounded, and brought moments of hope in a city under siege. Her small frame and radiant spirit made her a symbol of courage amid devastation. Against all odds, she survived the war, later passing away in 1989. Homeless, exhausted, and carrying what little they could, Palestinian families walked the dusty roads of Galilee in November 1948, forced to leave behind their villages during the Arab-Israeli War. This haunting photo captures not just a journey, but the birth of a tragedy that would displace over 700,000 people, what Palestinians call the Nakba, or catastrophe. Behind every face in this image lies a story of loss, resilience, and survival, as generations would inherit the memory of exile and the longing for a home left behind. Their faces are caked with dust, exhaustion, and defeat. These are the captured rebels of the 1979 Grand Mosque siege in Mecca. For 2 weeks, over 600 militants turned Islam's holiest site into a battlefield, shocking the Muslim world as they tried to topple the Saudi monarchy. The Saudi government, with help from French commandos, eventually crushed the uprising. Only 60 survived, and their fate was just as grim. Days later, they were dragged into public squares and executed by beheading, a brutal reminder of how swiftly rebellion was silenced.